Hvis du længe har haft en fantasi om at køre dit eget hospital, så er det her et spil lige for dig. Jeg er fløjet til London for at se nærmere på Two Point Hospital, og i dag der har jeg også fået fornøjelsen af at interviewe to af folkene bag det, der man sidder lige her. So, first of all, you finally come to like confirm the release date. Like that was like the number one question I got is like, when is it coming out?
It was everyone's number one question, I think, anyone that was interested.
So for the last guy who doesn't know, when exactly does it come out and what can we play it on?
That's the 30th of August, and it'll be playable on PC on Steam.
Do you consider this a remake of Theme Hospital?
We're steering away from the word remake. It's heavily inspired by, because some of the guys that work at the studio, Gary and Mark, created Theme Hospital, but it's a new game in its own right. It sort of leans on the nostalgia of that game, but reimagined in a modern style with all the kind of stuff you'd expect from a modern game.
So more like maybe like a spiritual successor rather than a straight.
It's close
remake.
to that, yeah. It's its own thing, just inspired by Theme Hospital, yeah.
Isn't it kind of scary to try and like revive like a game that is so like classic and beloved by so many people?
It's not scary because it's an entity in itself. It's a different game. You know, it does have characteristics of the old game, but it is a fresh, new, concept really. It's a new game.
The version we played today, you play it kind of like in a story mode where you have this like progression. Have you thought about doing like a creative mode where you're like free of restrictions like money and time, and you can just build like the most outrageous hospital you can think of?
Yeah, it's certainly something that we thought of. Right now it's a series of levels that we've crafted that have got objectives, things we need to build. There's a lot of creative freedom in there. We've created tons of items. You'll have seen all the list of items that you can unlock to customize your hospital with. So there's like plenty of freedom in there. It's something that we thought of, like a sandbox mode, and we don't have any firm plans, but who's to say we'll hopefully end up doing some kind of sandbox mode in like a post-launch update. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we haven't got a community yet. The game isn't released, but if it's something that really sort of rings true with the community, then we have thought about it, and we would consider sort of expanding in that direction. Proper sandbox mode, user-generated content, that sort of thing.
You talked about how like the game has a very like characteristic humor, and there's some very special like diseases they can get in the game. Like, can you give an example of like some of the more crazy ones?
I'll mention one of my favourites is 8-bitten, which is characters that have become like 8-bit game characters. So they're all pixelated. They only walk in 8 directions. They look like flat sprites, and they sort of animate all jerkily like an old 8-bit game character. There's lots of other silly ones as well. We've got 10, is it?
So yeah, I mean they're sort of scattered around. Some are introduced as a sort of do you want to treat this particular ailment, and you have to get a machine and treat them. Others are sort of more psychiatric. You've got things like a mime artist. They just wander around with a white painted face and a beret on and a stripy shirt, and just miming stuff. Is it climbing a ladder and all that? And the clowns, clowns of course, and so we'll introduce them as you progress through the game, and they'll start making reappearances.
And in this day and age, the classical questions: will there be any kind of like are any kind of plans for like microtransactions or loot boxes? Kind of like the
No. We're all a bit old school, and we're not big fans of microtransactions and squeezing money out of the player. No. So we've thought about obviously content for after launch. We don't have firm plans yet, but we'd love to support the game going forward with new drops of content. But they'll be big, like crafted things, packs of levels or illnesses. We don't know yet. But yeah, not like little drip fed things for the player to buy.
Maybe more like old school expansion packs.
Exactly. Yeah, that's more what we're thinking. Yeah.
There's obviously put a lot of thought into making it like a very nostalgic experience for those of us who played the original Team Hospital. But would you say it's still accessible for those who've never been playing it?
Yeah, and in terms of the nostalgia, so we actually get a surprising amount of people that haven't played or even heard of Team Hospital. So, but are still very interested in the game. I think maybe just because we are who we are and we're the ages that we are, we kind of assume that everyone knows about and has played. But there's a lot of young people that have no idea what we're talking about. So, yeah, it's certainly a game for anyone. It doesn't have to be for people that yearn for the old days. No.
Have you ever thought about doing like right now it's mainly like a single player experience, but have you thought about making kind of like a co-op option for like two people could be working on the same hospital in different areas at the same time, kind of like helping each other?
That would be cool, but as a programmer, that scares me. Multiplayer is hard. We've got some. It's just too hard. I don't want to do it. No, we've got some nice multiplayer stuff in there now. It's more like a connected experience than multiplayer. So I don't know if in the demo that you played, it activates on the second level, doesn't it? I think, yeah. So you'll be able to send your friends challenges, which there'll be simple objectives like just who can cure the most patients in a year, and you can play through that either completely separately. So I'll play through it, finish a year, and then send it over, and you can then play against my playthrough, if you see what I mean. You're just playing against like numbers on a graph, but we found it's surprisingly fun for what it is. Surprisingly fun. It's actually really fun, and you expect it to be fun. Or we can play through at the same time. So I can initiate the challenge, but then like both of us play, and you can see each other's graphs ticking up. And as you're playing, you can send like screenshots of your hospital to whoever you're playing with. And it's not just two players. I think we got up to 5 at the moment, is it? It just felt like a nice number. That's how much space we've got for tabs on there. So you can play with 5 people, and yeah, there's constraints everywhere. Yeah, and you can see like your friends' 5 graphs all sort of ticking up, and who's overtaking who, and you can send screenshots at different points. So you get like a message, oh, they've just done this. Hey, look at my awesome training room if you're doing a training challenge, that sort of thing. But we found that's really interesting, really fun. And we'd love to do sort of more, that's competitive, but we'd love to do more like co-op, collaborative things in future. We've got some ideas, but again, nothing firm, yeah.
We've like, within Pixel TV, we've had this kind of little, I wouldn't say it's a feud, it's more like an internal challenge to get ourselves inside of games. This is like the double-sided thing. Then I thought in a moment, maybe if I try and like combine it into like some kind of bribery. Like
I'm okay with that, yeah.
It's called Dream Cake. And
how do you say it in Danish?
Drømmekage. I thought of it last night, so it's sponge cake with coconut topping.
That's really nice. That's lovely.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Now what's the payoff?
Yeah, what do we owe you?
Like, make me like a patient or something. I don't know. You can hide my name, maybe. It's a very unusual name, so it would be easy to spot.
Yeah. Don't know if we'll get away with that. We've got.
Or you can make a disease that's like pixelated, so they get pixelated faces because they play too many video games.
Yeah.
And kind of a little bit like the 8-bit.
Got 8-bit, yeah.
But this is more like specifically for like the eyes or faces.
Well, we may end up having a character that appears like you, because we've got the character system that generates characters with random bits. So, and I think we've got shorts in there, haven't we? Various coloured tops. It's quite likely that they'll end up being someone like you in there.
Maybe not a Star Wars t-shirts. I think there's some licensing issues.
Probably, yeah.
Men det var alt herfra. Skriv som altid dine tanker lige nedenunder, og fortæl os, om du glæder dig til spillet, og så ses vi bare næste gang.
Every day we welcome new admissions to our growing multi-million-dollar facility. Our team of highly trained clinicians and support staff are dedicated to your well-being. We'll do whatever it takes. At 2 Point Hospital, we never stop improving. We never stop building. We never stop caring. Isn't that right, Trevor? Call 4417-529-USICK today to book your free consultation.
Cut!